Hey, this is Cam from the Brother Slim, and today is a exciting day. Enormity has launched. I was hoping to do a last-minute fun live stream launch party to go with it, but encountered some critical, let's be real, probably user errors rather than it being software errors, but critical errors that made it not work out. So doing a video instead. Would love to, we'll be engaging both community in the comment section too. Excited to see what we have going on. I haven't gone through the campaign page really at all. I started scrolling through, I think, the first paragraph, so this is going to be all brand new. For anyone who hasn't seen my TTS gameplay, I know about as much of the game as I think you could without playing the whole thing. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's new. Let's go through. Not going to watch the video. It's probably just the trailer and maybe some talk from Marcin. Mostly not going to watch it because my computer is hot garbage. So let's dive into the campaign proper. Okay, cool. That's good. Enormity, explore, extract, survive. Good slogan. It's kind of a fun play on Mothership RPGs, which is, I think, survive, solve, save. Curious if there's some, what's the words, influence or inspiration there? Quite possibly. So we've seen this art before. We have not seen this piece of it, though, which really adds suspense factor. So 1 to 4 players, ages 14 plus. 3+ campaigns, hundreds of hours of content, 60 to 90 minute sessions. So again, I've only played through the first half of the first parts of the tabletop simulator, not the boss battle, but the extraction, and it clocked in at over 2 hours. So part of that's going to be new to tabletop simulator and also brand new to this game. But keep that in mind. Chances, I think our Aeon Trespass games with me and 2 friends usually last about 2.5 hours. That being, we're trying to get as far as we can before our usual hard stop time of 9:30 p.m. at night. Okay, but let's dive into it. Explore a mysterious spaceship navigating toward an unknown destination. Face monstrous alien intruders, unravel horrific secrets, and survive enormity. A seamless open-world cooperative science fiction dungeon crawler. Engulf in dark, mature storytelling, so ergo with a 14+ rating, engrossing tactical combat, and endless exploration, wrapped in hundreds of hours of scripted and emergent gameplay. So the emergent piece is new for ITU, if I'm correct, which is cool. Kind of like a fun merging of things like Kingdom Death and the previous games, which is interesting, very interesting. I'm curious. The quality of ITU's writing is like unparalleled in the board game space, in my opinion. And I'm curious how the merging of emergent and their usual narratives will go. Enormity blurs the lines between legacy board games, narrative tabletop RPGs, and roguelike video games, setting a new standard for adventure board gaming. Yeah, big things with adventure board gaming right now with Lands of Evershade and this. Very cool indeed. So early bird, last contact, suit add-ons, so save $10. Be back in the first 48 hours. It's free. Very much Doom guy. We're here for it. That's pretty sweet. I think he's got he does have a chainsaw, like a chainsaw sword too. That's cool. You never know when you'll make first contact, but you can choose when to make it the last. Good quote from UCMC General William Keats. Sculpt looks awesome. Just as an aside, for their last campaign, they did share like quite a bit of stuff in like a preview that you could comment on and provide feedback on. Piece of feedback that myself and others definitely thought was that the sculpts looked a little like soft or undetailed, and like maybe they're just trying to make it a little bit more realistic to the final finished plastic product rather than making a sculpt really, really pretty. But it made it really hard to see all the details, and this looks much better already. So keen on that. That's awesome. Also love the casual pose with the pistol and the chainsword. Very cool. So work in progress, of course. Very cool. Free Kickstarter exclusive alternative sculpt miniature. The Breaching Mothman will be added for free for every pledge during this crowdfunding campaign. This is our way of saying thank you to everyone who believes in us and supports us during the most important part of the game's development process, the crowdfunding campaign. This alternative sculpt will not be available later, not even in their pledge manager. This is a cosmetic gift. It does not include any new gameplay. Cool. So I was kind of curious why there was multiple sculpts of this fellow, besides just like iterating and such. So there we go. Very, very neat. I wouldn't be surprised if, just knowing the levels that these guys will get into, that there might be more than just that. But if it is just that, that's still sweet and that's cool. Not super, like, it's a cool sculpt, and I really like the wings and the idea behind it, but I'm not like enraptured by it personally. Why back now? Get all unlocked content by backing the game from the very first day of the campaign. Indeed. So I think this is the same image that we've seen previously, although actually maybe not. I think some things are different. So cool. We'll go through 1, already unlocked stretch goals. 1, core game miniatures and stretch goal miniatures. Why back now? Massive discounts. During fulfillment, you'll pay up to thrice, thrice. But actually, like, very true. The crowdfunding price for the core game and its stretch goals. Limited availability. Our games have never gone to retail. If you want to secure your copy, back now. Be first. You'll be the first to get Enormity. Be involved. In crowdfunding, backers have a say in the game's creative process. Take your chance and get the game that you want. Be a part of the dream. Our games are big, enormous, and ambitious with vast storytelling and complex mechanics, and are possible only through the magic of crowdfunding. Be part of this dream. Yep, they are my favorite crowdfunding company, and they make some pretty bonkers games, that's for sure. What makes Enormity special? High quality narrative. Our games are known for their deep, suspenseful, and mature stories. Enormity offers 4 distinct narrative campaigns of space, horror, and discovery. A note on their narrative and storytelling, once again, like very mature. Well, this might be even more mature, but like Aeon Trespass, rock solid, mature, good, and like it's not mature in the point where like younger people shouldn't play it. It's just really well written, and it never takes itself too seriously too. Like there's still lots of times where the writing literally made us laugh, and we've had a blast with it. And so while their settings can be quite grim and dark, the people that in it are not always. And I think it threads a really good balance there. Roguelike campaigns. Enormity allows for true modular play through custom roguelike campaigns, modular and scalable, which makes it endlessly replayable. Personally, I'm not really sure how I feel about the endlessly replayable piece. Like it's something that they talked about in their Kingdoms Forlorn campaign too. And I don't know, for me, like I'm there to explore the narrative and play through the game. If I'm retreading things that I've done before, even if there's secrets to explore, like then it just feels more like a grind to me. But the fact that it's something that they're trying to do with their games, and they really are lifestyle games, I'm sure that people will really enjoy that. Easy to get into. Enormity is a quick-paced, simple but elegant dungeon crawler with easy-to-learn rules, pick up and play gameplay, fast setup and teardown time. Setting up a single session takes less than 5 minutes, and you can transition into a campaign whenever you like, or not at all. So the campaign or no campaign thing is really cool. Once again, I think definitely play the campaign. Their narratives are just too good to miss in my mind. The setup and teardown I will be curious about. It probably takes me about 20 minutes to half an hour to set up Aeon Trespass, and we've been playing the game for about a year. This game is a lot more streamlined in a lot of ways, though. However, a lot more streamlined for Into the Unknown is still a pretty heavy game in comparison to some others out there, so just be wary of that. Or not wary, be aware is a better term. But yeah, there's a lot of things that do seem quite more streamlined, and obviously it's very much still a prototype. And if you go back to Kingdoms Forlorn, Aeon Trespass, everything that they have available during their crowdfunding campaigns versus what's available closer to launch and once the game actually delivers, bonkers how much it just gets better and better and better. And yeah, big fan of their process. And I'm liking this campaign page so far too. There's a lot of reading, which some people might get kind of thrown off, but there are also some really good images showing various content too. So a big critique of their Kingdoms Forlorn campaign I had was it just didn't show enough at the beginning, and the price tag was decently high, higher than this entry level at least. And because they didn't show very much, I think a lot of people day one were just like, nah, I'm going to pass on this. We humans in general have attention spans of goldfish, and it's not something that's riveting and exciting right away. It's a pass. Anyways, I digress. Dark, hard lore, the best of science fiction and horror, submerge into the layers of its lore, the familiarity of the current space age, the foreboding mood and aesthetics of alienness, and the esoteric fusion of mysticism, technology, magic, and religion coalescing into a truly Lovecraftian cosmic horror. Yep, those sound awesome to me. Fun things. Enormous open world. The whole of Enormity is played as a seamless, interconnected open world that uses 2+ location books and other location components to move you from room to room, space to space, region to region. This includes your downtime. You are always on the map, immersed in the world. There is no escape. So I do really like that it's 2+ location books and then also other location components. In the preview leading up to today's launch, it basically said you have the 2 books, and it just felt like then you're going to have to be adjusting lots of things, taking lots of things on and off the map and flipping all the times and placing more things on and off, which just feels like it would turn into more of a table hog. So I like that. And let's see, proved tactical combat. Enormity uses the next evolution of our lauded inverted combat paradigm system that massively cuts down on complicatedness, not complexity, and the number of components to deliver a quick, intuitive, approachable, tense tactical combat that can be enjoyed in short bursts. I've enjoyed it so far. One of the first differences that's kind of struck out is that you don't roll to hit. You just roll one set of dice. So instead of rolling a d10 to see if you hit, you just roll their 6-sided dice that they call power dice, and all kinds of different things on there to see what happens. So a little bit different, but definitely good. So 2 game versions. Core baseline game and the exclusive special edition. Ooh, the special edition is actually not that much more. That is fantastic. So as a frame of reference, I think, yeah, these sculpts look pretty sweet. If I remember correctly, and I was really hoping that this would be the case, but I didn't think it would be, so this is awesome. When Alien Trespass launched back in 2019, I think the base game was 100 or 130, probably $130 or maybe euros. I can't remember what it launched in at the time. And with the expansions, that was 200. I'm assuming there's going to be expansions here because every single game they've done, they've had extra boxes for. And if it's 200, that's going to be insane. My first thought was, core base game, just get standees, it'll be good. But I am a sucker for miniatures. I love me painting some minis, and I don't really have any sci-fi ones, especially since I recently sold off my last 40k army, so we shall see. We shall see. I'm going to go read it through everything and give some preliminary thoughts on what I'm going to back or what I'll likely back at the end. And this video might be a little bit long because I'm definitely enjoying going through it. $89 is a huge value for their stuff, though. Okay, so plus applicable taxes and such, of course. So 51 plus standees, 6 plus spacer standees, 5 plus large boss intruder standees, 40 plus intruder standees. Standard box. Okay, so the exact same thing just for miniatures and special edition telescopic box. So a feedback for their Trespass box is it's too big for my shelf. I don't know if it would fit on a Calyx or not. I think I've only seen pictures of them on top. But I think they've kind of taken that, you know what, this ginormous oblong box is too big to ship and not great to store. So having it like a little bit different like they're doing with Kingdoms Forlorn and having it telescopic sounds good to me. Each version provides 4 narrative campaigns. Sick. Originally, I think there's just 3 that were announced. Dark Side of the Sun, which is, we get part of that in the TTS or the demo in general, the prototype. My guess is it's probably, like the playable stuff is probably right after the tutorial rather than part of the tutorial, but who knows, maybe it is. And then like the first tutorial boss fight. That's my thought. So there's going to be a lot more stuff than that. Assimilation, and I think the demo, or the physical demo at least, was supposed to run like maybe 8 to 12 hours. So just as a comparative point out of 10 to 30 there. So I could be wrong. Black Compromat and 3 Laws of Heresy, as well as rules for custom campaigns. Yeah, great names, big fan, cool. Ooh. Okay, so this is a much bigger investment. Pledge levels, Dead Spacer Pledge. This contains the Enormity core game, all unlocked stretch goals, the Scourge campaign, the Grey Death campaign, the Rotting Order campaign, and the Ghosts of Hollow campaign. Well, I don't think I'll be getting that. I would love to, but I think that is just too much money at this point in time. Yes. But we'll check it all out. We shall check it all out. So that's an idea of what the game's going to cost later. Basically, they do various tiers in the Pledge Manager of upping the price as they get closer and closer to fulfillment. Okay, so baseline, boom. Choose your pledge. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of expansions available. Actually, more than I thought. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 expansions is pretty insane. And then NASF Reinforcement Armory expansion. Interesting. Blood, Lore, and Secrets art book. Oh, that's cool. They're doing an art book. Core game Menagerie and miniature sets. Curious about that. First Expanse Menagerie. Oh, I wonder if these are... We'll get through it. We shall get through it. Ooh. Banner for stretch goals. Here we'll have the stretch goal sprawl with hyperlinks to the updates that describe them. Day 1 surprise. New suit. The moth suit. Sculpt looks great. Like that a lot. That looks really cool. Stretch goal, new character, the Rejected. Okay, interesting. How to pledge? Well, we should all know this at this point, and they'll have their stuff there. So gameplay, add-ons. Scourge campaign expansion. They live in the walls, and soon inside you. Enter the forbidden crawl spaces of the Shepherd, where a universal scourge has been allowed to fester. This is a new campaign expansion, introducing a new narrative campaign, new intruders, a new boss, new spacers and suits, new gear, new locations, and much, much more. All content from this expansion can also be used in modular custom campaigns. Species. Multi-locus exterminator. So big thing here, like there's so much content in ITU's base games that like if budget is tight, just get the normal game. All the expansions are going to be awesome, but there's so much game, and I'm going to do my best to listen to my own advice here too. We shall see. Rat catcher, so work in progress. Oh, that looks creepy. It looks kind of like a... What are those screaming plants from Harry Potter? I can't remember the name, but it looks kind of like a horrible, gribbly zombie space version of that. Paramollusca, Parasita, Walrats. Cool, cool, cool. And then a bunch of things that we don't have any details. So the Rotting Order, Gore Planet, and then, okay. So my assumption is we'll get this stuff throughout the campaign, although I'm a little surprised it's not here already. So I'm curious what the story is there, like especially with all of these present here too. I'm going to refresh the page actually, just in case they've updated it since launch. Loading, loading, loading. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this looks nice. I should have refreshed that a little bit earlier. So there's a couple placeholder things from their setup that are now removed, so that is good. New stretch goal, NOOS Armory. So some new cool weapons. The items and stuff that they can do in ATO are awesome, and we're not even that deep into the game yet, so definitely trust stuff like that. New suits, the Visionary. Cool, that sculpt also looks sweet. Stretch goal, boss power-up pack, 6 standard cards. So curious if that's just the Mothman or if that's just a placeholder for other critters too. So pledge, once again, we'll just skip past. Gameplay add-ons. So Scourge, this is what we read. Okay, here we go. So we got more stuff. Scourge campaign includes 1 box, 1 rat catcher miniature instandee, 1 RT exterminator, hazard suit miniature instandee, 10 wall rats, miniature instandees, 2 characters, 2 suits, 6 oversized cards. Course and more, 60 plus standard cards, AI, BP, traits, stratagems, and more. So weapon, yeah, there's a gazillion cards, 2 plus monster sheets, Scourge campaign book, 2 Scourge location books. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, and then Grey Death campaign expansion. What heinous experiments has Earth Gov been conducting here, or was it the corpse? Either way, it's all theirs now. Theirs being capitalized. And their design transcends your understanding. So everyone is guilty of typos from now and then. However, Marson specifically is very specific in the language he uses. So theirs is clearly some form of higher entity or something like that in my mind. An example of just his specificity of language is, what is its name? There's a little add-on from their previous Sins of Heracles campaign where it was not the last end of the Giganese. Like Doom of Pythagoras, and it's with an apostrophe, which is not correct English, but it's specific for some sort of story or gameplay thing. So this is a new campaign expansion, introducing a new narrative campaign, new intruders, and new boss and spacers. So basically the same idea. Species, Grisius armatus, gene splicer. So this one looks like it's a little bit more work in progress. You can see it's not quite as detailed as the other sculpts that we've seen up above. It does look like it's meant to be very clean though too, so I wouldn't expect too much more like dints and scratches and grime. Species, Victimus demens, lepers. Yep, that's suitably creepy with no face. Grey Death, so once again, all of the stuff included. There are quick little scope idea of what's there. The Rotting Order campaign. When your kind barely stood upright, their empire spanned the stars, yet even they could not prevent the rot from corrupting the tissue of reality. This is a new campaign expansion, introducing a new narrative, new intruders. Yep, so same idea. Basically, all of these will contain the same kind of contents, just obviously different story and critters. Austerius Ravus, Gatekeeper. Interesting. Famulus Satrapa, Golem. Kind of reminds me of new Doctor Who. Cool. So the Rotting Order. So they seem to have gone past death and kind of reminds me of like Necrons from 40k, just different visuals. Ghosts of excuse me, Ghosts of Hala. Hala, the promised land of the Church of Transcendence, or so they said. Hollow promises and a hollow world. Nothing here but death and despair. And her. Do not follow her. Space Ghosts, looks like. Manus Taurus, Eclipse Phantom. Phantasma Paradoxum. Cool, Space Ghosts sound pretty sick to me. Once again, there's the gist of all the content it's going to include off the beginning. Reinforcement Armory Expansion. NASF has not prepared you for any of this. Anything can come in handy, and the more deadly, the better. This is an Armory Reinforcement Pack with an additional 300 gear and weapons for ultimate modularity, theory crafting, and loadout creation. These cards are a reprint of core game content. All content from this expansion can be used in modular custom campaigns. These are a reprint of core game content. Interesting. So my read on that is that this is all of the gear that you get in the core game, but more copies of it. That's not as cool as just 300 new gear weapons, but that would be a pretty bonkers, crazy thing to add. So makes sense. I've always loved the idea of kind of like theory crafting and loadout building in their games, but it's just something I do not have the expertise in their games to really put together or the time, but interesting. Okay, and then this guy is the freebie you get if you back in the first 48 hours. We've read that already. Looks cool, that's for sure. Cosmetic add-ons. Blood, Lore, and Secrets. That art looks awesome. ITU, so narrative and art, phenomenal. Universe is infinite and unknowable, full of mysteries crawling deep under your skin. Resistance is futile. Let the madness in. Premium, a hardcover album containing the artwork and sketches from across all Enormity content, as well as additional world-building, lore, and its deepest secrets. Okay, core game Menagerie miniature set. Work in progress. Universe has an incalculable number of ways to kill you. Say hello to a few more. A set of 25 plus high-quality miniatures to represent the unique specimens you'll face during your core game expansions. I like that. I'm not going to be backing it personally, because it's just cosmetic. But so a feature in this game is you're going to be fighting a lot of the same kind of mobs of gribbly horrible critters throughout the game, and whenever you do, there's a chance of spawning unique specimens, which are like a deck of cards with unique features and artwork, and like whatever gameplay features they have will kind of be based upon whatever their physical features are. So without spoiling anything, this one in the middle looks to be part of the Grin, which is kind of like these humanoid worm xenomorph kind of things. Very creepy. And so this one is clearly all fingers, but one is kind of like a starfish of fingers, and it's disgusting. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's a sweet add-on. I'm stoked they're doing that. First Expanse Menagerie miniature set. A set of 20 plus high quality miniatures to... So unique specimens from all of the expansions. Very cool. Spacer data log. 50-page softcover notebook for all your in-game notes, like secret codes, marks, and deciphering alien language matrices. Illustrated with NASF UI feature font for maximum immersion. Cover with foil finish. Ooh, I'm a sucker for foil finishes on covers, that's for sure. Dice pack. It's unwise to leave your fate in the hands of another. This is an extra set of 20 Enormity dice. Cool to see some more dice too. So in the demo, we got the white ones as the basic, and then red is a little bit more advanced. Black is like the strongest dice, so there's like the most amount of symbols on them. Blue, we haven't seen, and also gray we haven't seen. Also interesting, there's just one. And there is what looks to be a D10 there too. Cool. Game and player mat sets. Cool. Sleeves. Pretty sweet to be able to have sleeves just in the campaign. That's awesome. 4 times campaign sleeves. Good stuff. Stretch goal spotlight. So content sprawl. This is what I was looking for. I was surprised it's actually not higher up, because it seemed like it talks about the game a little bit and then goes into detail about all of the playlists at least, which is really good, and then all of the add-ons that you can get, and then it goes into like the base game, which is an interesting choice in my mind, I guess. Let's see. So 5 books. So you get the rule book, mythos book, location books 1 and 2. So this is a special edition with the minis, 51 plus miniatures. So there are examples of some of the suits. I saw some critique online that the basic suits look very basic. That's definitely intentional. It's, as you can see, that one looks like a Mandalorian, and I'm here for it. Sweet. Sorry, distraction. So in Aeon Trespass, you get like the most basic characters to start out with. Then as you progress through the game, there's various tiers of new player character minis that you get to represent your characters, and they get cooler and cooler for the most part, and more intricate. Alrighty, intruder database, 30 plus intruders. So we've got the Mothman, the freebie promo Mothman. It's kind of horrible space jellyfish fellow. This guy's got way too many hands, and not gonna lie, I'm kind of here for it. It's creepy and kind of horrifyingly cruel. Yep. This guy was on the top of the page, big long tentacles, and looks like he's like strapped into the ceiling or something with wires, maybe. Robo-Dude, we saw this in like the banner image. These are the Mushroom Automa. These look like dead spacesuits with hopefully no head in there. I think they'll be eerie as heck. Skeleton snipers. Those are the green which we've seen. And then these long tongue looking also finger guys. Rubicon dividers and Rubicon indicators and cards. So spacer and suits. That's basically what your character board ends up being. A whole bunch of gear and weapons. Good stuff. A lot of them are double-sided too. Intruder actions, body parts, unique species. So basically, whenever you're fighting a boss, they'll have AI decks that escalate into higher and higher difficulty the closer they are to death. And then also body part decks, which you're trying to wound. And whenever you wound one, you replace whatever you wounded with a higher tier, harder one too. So the closer you are to death, the stronger you are. And the same goes for what you're facing too. All of the cards, good stuff, good stuff. Tac scanner, so that's how you scan. It's like if anyone's familiar with Awakened Realms, it's kind of a similar vibe to what they've done in some of their recent games, where you stick different cards into the scanner and it'll show different things. Whole bunch of tokens. One thing I'm kind of stoked on that they've done is these tokens are bigger, but they're double-sided. So one side is just one and the other side is two. So that way you don't have such a massive stack of them. Miniature scale, so 32 millimeters. Cool, very cool. The premise. So the premise is something that having it lower down makes sense to me, but having like the scope of what you actually get, I feel like that should be higher, especially just since it is not that big of a sprawl right now, at least. Me, of course, just some dude on the internet, not a pro game designer though, so keep that in mind, of course. The premise. Enormity is the unmeasurable grandeur of the universe, its unfathomable size and variety, and the sense of wonder and horror it instills in all mortal things. It is beautiful, it is terrible, it is unknowable. Into unknowable, perhaps. In Enormity, you will explore the massive NASF shepherds, moving from area to area, scavenging loot and knowledge, fighting terrible intruder enemies, including boss-type alien life forms. You will play as one of the existing characters or create your own, develop them through branching progression trees, and gather engrams to convert into resources, weaponize your finds, develop technology, try to pierce together alien lore, and craft new weapons, gear, and even new suits, as well as customize your loadouts. Whew. That's a very long sentence. Oh, and above all else, you will try to survive. Indeed. That is a creepy image. Is this a cosmic love child of 20th century hard science fiction, aliens, and Lovecraft with a touch of old, keyword old, Star Wars? Perhaps. Enormity builds on the mechanics we've been perfecting over the years called the inverted combat paradigm. The gist of the system is simple. Your encounters with intruders won't wind down, they will heat up. As you get closer to death, you will unlock new abilities and opportunities, but the same will be true of your enemies, either through the escalation of their power or the inevitable countdown to extinction. Each gameplay session will be a nail-biting affair from start to the very finish. Enormity is a dungeon crawler unfolding over dozens of interconnected maps, like a true Metroidvania with hundreds of passageways, rooms, secret shortcuts, hundreds of gear and weapons to salvage or craft, with alien ecologies that evolve in real time based on your actions, full of intense firefights and nerve-wracking stealth. You'll be able to enjoy the game at your own pace as single sessions where you go in just to shoot some aliens and gain loot, as narrative campaigns that unveil the terrifying world of Enormity, or as custom modular campaigns that will never proceed the same way twice, providing you with endless replayability. So the custom modular piece I'm curious about too. Like, is that something they've inbuilt themselves, or is it going to be things that like we as the community can like contribute to as well? Gameplay. Enormity is quick-paced, simple, but elegant dungeon crawler with easy-to-use rules, pick up and play gameplay, and fast setup and teardown time. Setting up a single session takes less than 5 minutes. Okay, so we've basically read that. Cool. Once again, phenomenal art. You play as spacers stranded on a giant mysterious ship, the Shepherd. After selecting your loadout, like suits, weapons, you go on runs into various parts of the ship, exploring the sprawling map and fulfilling objectives, from simple loot runs for better guns to story-driven missions of your current campaign. So things like simple loot runs for better guns is not my cup of tea. I don't get to game that often, and so when I do, I like it to be with more of a purpose than just like improving my character, if that makes sense. Like progressing the narrative is my big MO. Recon, you choose if you're going in guns blazing or take a more stealthy route, as each zone of the Shepherd, each objective, and each intruder enemy may demand a different approach. Combat. This is represented by the various run types, Recon, Combat, and Stealth. There are also nail-biting boss battles against opposing intruder bosses. During all this, you should feel a mixture of isolation, tension, and dread, but also curiosity and wonder. So with Combat, Stealth, and Recon, I'd be curious what happens if you fail in the objective. My hope and assumption with Into the Unknown is that if we're stealthing and we get found out, we don't just lose, but we need to progress, and it's a much, much harder thing. That would be my guess and my hope. Cool. So this guy does seem to be like the boss of the Grin/hand monsters, and the Grin do seem to evolve. Like basic one, kind of gorilla, chonky one. I think there might have been one more too. Oh yeah, this guy looks like a unique specimen actually. And then this thing looks kind of like the apex form. That's kind of my thought. Copy. The combat is fast and fluid, using action cards for actions and a 1-die resolution system for every test, from shooting to hacking to deciphering an alien language. You are always pressured to move forward to make the best tactical decision under current circumstances. Runs don't have a timer, but if you take too long, those fearsome bosses, like every good nemesis, I think Resident Evil there, will come for you, right then and there in the middle of an unscripted dungeon crawl. Yeah, it's a cool mechanic. After a run or a battle ends, you return to a safe house location, which is another area on the ship you've never taken out of the game, or you're never taken out of the game, to enhance your character and their equipment. You will convert engrams into resources to upgrade or build new gear and suits, or learn to use alien technology. You will spend experience to develop your spacer along a unique progression tree. You will try to decipher alien language and solve military ciphers. Your one-shot session may end here. Also, I don't know how much further. I might only be halfway, and I feel like this has been going on for a little while. Okay. If you're playing a campaign, be it one of the many narrative ones we provided, or your custom one. Keyword, your custom one. So that's interesting. You'll make narrative choices and plan your next mission, taking into account the current shipping situation of the ship. Narrative campaigns have a mixed time frame. Every good story needs an epic ending, while custom campaigns are truly endless. Especially that each intruder and boss intruder comes with 9 progressively more difficult levels, as well as zone variants. Difficulty levels is something that's in Ion Trespass, so it's cool to see that coming back. And then zone variants is interesting too. That's probably like a card with different traits or something. Want to know more about the gameplay? Check out one of the video previews below, read the prototype rulebook, or hop into Tabletop Simulator on Steam and give the first few missions a spin. If my computer can run TTS, which it can, yours most likely can too. And speaking of experience, it was actually quite easy to pick up. There's a couple little key binding things that make it really easy. Like I think Alt zooms in on a card for you. Hitting R will roll stuff. F flips cards over, and it was yeah. Those were basically the only key binding things that I use, and it was fun. Alrighty, so in inverted combat paradigm. So this is all for people that are new to ITU. Uses a modified version of our ICP that always reminds me of Insane Counterplasty, and developed over a decade, tried and tested across Ion Trespass Odyssey, its expansion, as well as Kingdoms Forlorn. Low HP, power up. With ICP, the game doesn't wind down, it heats up. Your wounds, stress levels, and time running up don't make you weaker, they make you sore. Intruders don't get beaten, they power up. Unlike most games, Enormity has a distinct heroic flow that's always on the uptake. You're playing heroes facing unimaginable terror, and you will do whatever it takes to see you through the end. Each time you fall, you will stand up stronger. Each time you're knocked down, or knocked back, you will punch harder. Against all odds, you will take whatever the cruel universe throws against you and survive. And then same idea, basically, whenever I mentioned this earlier, so if you wound a BP1, you replace it with a BP2. If you wound a BP2, you replace it with a BP3. And they get more and more harder. So we'll slick back just past that. So don't want this to go on for too long. More cool art. This dance is what makes the gameplay of Enormity exciting. Victory is never assured, defeat never inevitable. You must be on your toes at all times and use all the options at your disposal. Good stuff. One fun thing as a little nod from Ion Trespass is in the rulebook, a lot of the artwork for the boss battles and such, like probably this one, for example, includes party loadouts of what the team was actually playtesting before when they had like epic fights. And I hope that's something that they continue to do because it's such a cool idea. Hard co-op. So this is their token system, and not going to read through every single thing just because I think this video is going to take longer than I was expecting anyways. Basically, at the end of your turn, you're able to leave tokens, and the further up your adrenaline is, the more tokens you can leave, meaning the more tokens that the next person to go can use, and so forth. At the end of that person's turn, the usable tokens are taken out, and they leave their own tokens too. Cool. Enormous open world. So I think this one we will read. Wet smacking and a low thud as something slithers from an air duct and falls to the floor. Big and bulky, like a dog, but oily, shining in the dim light. Nothing so big could have squeezed through that duct. Yet it did. It rises on all fours, chirping and hissing. With Enormity, we wanted to take the dungeon crawling experience to the next level, to keep you constantly engaged with the exciting gameplay and emergent story across an open world, made of hundreds of passages, rooms, secrets, and shortcuts, hundreds of gear and weapons to salvage Warcraft, with alien ecologies that evolve in real time based on your actions. Cool, that's probably something to do with the sticker piece of the game. Apparently there's going to be a whole bunch of reusable stickers. And there is just a tease of how big the Enormity is. And I don't think that's anything that we've seen before that's in the demo at least. So cool, very cool. Enormity's locations are not scenario-based. You have total freedom of where to go, how to go there, what objectives to set. Your extraction runs are limited only by the growing opposition from the intruders. You'll need to rest and expand your power base, and of course, the needs of your narrative campaign. In other words, Enormity's board is one giant dungeon crawling map made of dozens upon dozens of sections. Of course, there are rules that will make sure the gameplay space does not overwhelm you or your table, and that only a few locations remain in play at a given time. Those left behind will hide in a fog of war-type veil but can always be revisited. Well, unless you chose to blow a whole section up to halt the alien onslaught, that is. In that case, you will have to look for a detour, ... Out of service, this enormous expanding and modular experience is made whole by the existence of various transition spaces, like the safe houses you will visit between your dungeon crawling and boss battling, as well as special locations hidden among other game components, and stickers. There we go. So stickers will modify how the shepherd looks, opening and closing passages, introducing completely new spaces, new hazards, and new opportunities, all based on your choices to expand and provide you with the ultimate experience of a persistent, evolving world. And don't worry, these stickers are reusable. Stickers are obviously a pretty polarizing thing in gaming, so I'm obviously awesome that they're going to be reusable, and I'll be curious how that works. In Enormity, there is only one board, that of the mysterious starship itself. This board is made of unique, handcrafted locations that sprawl into a near-infinite maze of intricate sections, hidden passages, shortcuts, and arenas. Even your downtime, the part of the game where you develop your characters, craft gear, and make starting technological breakthroughs, happens on that same very board, in safe house-type locations, with your actions and opportunities reflected by the equipment provided within, right there on that page. Interesting. In gameplay terms, we achieve this by using several ring-bound location books that you use in tandem to expand and explore the map in real time. That's right, whenever you move to your current location's edge, providing there is a door or another type of passage, you will instantly unlock another location, and another, and another. You are free to explore at your own pace. So that's book 1, that's book 2, nope, that's book 2, that's book 1, book 1, book 2, book 1, and so forth. Trippy. That is really cool. And I kind of hope that they don't expand it into like 3 or more books, just because then it would be a huge sprawl on the table. Or a bigger sprawl, I should say. So, imagine sneaking through an enormous spaceship, weapons in hand, deciding where to go and which sections to avoid. Imagine uncovering a giant, intricate, interconnected map that tells its own story of the purpose, past, and future of the ship. Imagine the ship's layout evolving over time, becoming more overrun by an infestation of alien life forms. Imagine engaging those intruders in thrilling firefights, nail-biting retreats from overwhelming forces, and daring raid to cleanse nests or shatter the interdimensional hold the outsiders have on our reality. And I haven't even mentioned away missions to alien planets, and planes, and our immersive fast travel system. Cool. Very cool indeed. So this, I'm assuming, is the Enormity, and this might actually be like the Bow Solar Ring, which is where the first part of the game in that Dark of the Sun kicks off. Your hurried footsteps echo in the metal floor of the service corridor. That thing, it was almost human. Almost, but stretched. A rubber suit worn too many times by too large a thing. Stretched impossibly long and thin. Thick cables move in the dark like black snakes. Or... Cool. The lore. A creak of a strained girder, the flicker of artificial light burning out. A hollow clang as something gets loose in the gaping liminal space between superstructures. Old ships are like old houses, creaking, cracking, knocking, drumming, settling, hardly silent. An inhuman wail echoes through its abandoned corridors, because just like old houses, old ships are often haunted too. Imagine you are stranded on a derelict starship light years from home, with no way of going back. Imagine exploring the mysterious vessel deck after decrepit, oppressive deck and uncovering its disturbing secrets. Imagine it's dark and cold and the air is thin. Imagine you are not alone. Do love this art though, with the event horizon, I think it would be. It reflected there, and like the flowers and such on the suits and the fractured glass. Very cool. Enormity is your ultimate dark science fiction fantasy. It's inspired by the greatest of SF literature, cinema, and games, but charts its own course into the unknown. Roll credits. Our games are lauded for being the biggest, the most engrossing, and the best written. I would definitely concur there. And Enormity is not going to be an exception. If you ever wanted to feel like an intrepid group of unlikely heroes trying to survive in a dangerous, strange universe facing unimaginable threats, from the technological through the alien to the very eldritch, armed with powerful state-of-the-art weapons, which don't seem so powerful all of a sudden, a floodlight and a jerry-rigged scanner showing ominous blips swelling all around you. Enormity will provide you with that experience and so much more. We spent considerable time realizing Enormity's unique hard SF setting. When you explore the massive ship, you move through diverse elements from stylish and squeaky clean sections of the C-suite to the poorly lit, dirty, and suffocating back end of engineering, processing, and maintenance to completely alien biomes where the intruders have gained a terrible foothold, and where even the laws of physics bow to antinomy. That's used in the game too. It could be fauna. Flora, I should say. The unfinished space stretches out before you like a black gaping wound. How could a starship with a structural deficiency so glaring be allowed to leave the shipyard? And then a thought occurs to you, as dark and vast as the abyss you find yourself on the precipice of. What if it didn't? What if something tore these hollows later, out there, in the void, where the shepherd was all these years? World building is something we at ITU live and breathe. Each game component is illustrated and features additional lore snippets. It's not idle fluff either, would agree there. It's really cool how things almost always have some sort of meaning. Our worlds are carefully thought out and meticulously crafted. Each little tidbit gives you precious insight into the inner workings of the universe, hints at the bigger picture and the direction of the narrative, informing your choices, helping you survive that much longer. World building would be nothing without secrets. Secret ciphers, alien languages, obscure puzzles, hidden within puzzles. We make sure you get to fully immerse yourself into the gameplay and story and feel the world around you is alive. There's nothing quite like it on the market, save our previous games. Yep, they have all kinds of really cool little puzzles and secrets. And even just like visual things too, like they tell stories. Their narrative isn't just the campaign writing. It's in the artwork, it's in the map, it's in the secrets and items that you can find, and even the mechanics of the game itself. It's pretty wild. Okay, so known for their deep and suspenseful, mature storylines, Enormity is no different. The base game alone offers 4 distinct narrative campaigns of space horror and discovery. If you want to get a sense of what each of them entails, read on. So it's pretty freaking bonkers that there's 4 campaigns in the base game for 130 USD. Wild. Okay, sweet. Dark Side of the Sun. Over the decades, Project Icarus has tracked thousands of objects hurtling towards the sun, toward their doom, moths to a flame, and those who watched it. Precious lifetimes lost observing a meaningless phenomenon, less than meaningless, soulless, godless. And then you are an angel? Has the time come? I've been waiting so long. A thing now stalks the corridors of the shepherd, its gravitational field and radiation emissions growing. It does not hunt for you, yet you will fall prey nonetheless. And if not, you will be consumed by the birth of a new star. Dark Side of the Sun is an introductory campaign that should take you 20 to 30 hours to complete. Cool. Oh, nice. So there's a video for it, too. We're not going to watch it on this because my computer will crap out. Black Compromat. There is a secret history of space conquest going back to the olden 20th century. A history that claims that our worst enemy raced us for the stars and won. A history where NASF is but a footnote. A black hole is described as a region of space-time wherein gravity is so strong that no matter or electromagnetic energy like light can escape it. But what if the black hole spits something out? You will soon find out. The anomaly called the Shepherd answers. And the anomaly called and the Shepherd answers. Cool. So 30 to 45 hours, so a little bit longer. There's that creepy, cool alien thing. Or I don't know, it could even be like a little bit more human in a way too. There's a video too. 3 laws of heresy. The laws were as follows. 1. A robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey. The laws were. In an older, simpler, more innocent time, maybe. But times change, and so does AI. The Shepherd had a fully automated auxiliary crew made of autonomous units, automas for short, now carried into an unknown parasitic organism that feasts on synthetic life. What is it, though? What is life, though? Or assimilation? That's always a fun play. Then what makes you, you? Memory shaped into a consciousness, then transferred, sleeved, and re-sleeved dozens of times? How do you know if something hasn't slipped in your place? 3 Laws of Heresy is an intermediate campaign that should take you 30 to 45 hours to complete. Assimilation. On Old Earth, there was a form of convergent evolution called, oh, yes, please, carcinization. Carcinization. Everything evolving into a crowd. Crowds are so cool, and I'm here for it. Heck yeah. As if it was some perfect final shape of all living things. What if there was a perfect shape, though? Not on profane Earth, but in a divine void, where even stars feared to thread. What if that perfect form spread? What if you were already infected? No, those black worm-like things, they can't be. It can't be. The shepherd cannot return home. You must not let it return home. Assimilation is a hard campaign. It should take 30 to 45 hours to complete. Cool. So there's a fun nod, like in human nature and such, like one of our defining features is that we have opposable... Where is that? We have thumbs. We have opposing digits and all that. So this, I feel like, is kind of a play on that, just taken to the extreme. And also, Kingdom Death, Adam Poot says the thing with hands, or almost all of his critters have human hands involved. And if I remember correctly, there was paraphrasing a quote of his, he's like, well, hands are kind of what set humans apart, and so what if everything else had hands too? I like that. Okay. Then trailer there. Custom campaigns. Cool. So with Enormity, we want to dive deeper into the kind of storytelling only games can deliver. Impromptu, exploration-driven, based on an order of events, influenced by players' actions, environmental, contextual, and finally emergent. Story is gameplay. This is how your custom campaigns will flow, with storylines and passages interweaving into your personal player experiences. These are what you make of them, and easy or as hard as you wish. As for the time it will take you to complete, it is also up to you. But if you want to traverse the whole ship and face every possible enemy at every possible level, then we'll go into the hundreds and beyond. Miniatures and arts. All art in Enormity is a result of hard work by talented artists, illustrators, sculptors, writers, and designers. We quarterly invite you into the venture and allow us to... So some of the best artists in the business, like Louis Lasahito, Abra Khan, or Igor Karolak. Marvel the miniatures, watch a trailer, read the rules, and possibly play the demo. Definitely play the demo. it's pretty cool. So there we go. That's that kind of creepy jellyfish-looking fellow. Nice, fun notes. Always fun seeing concept art. Spacers in suits. So we talked about this a little bit already. Pre-generated spacers. Examples. So this is like the starting suits. It's art of one of the starting characters, and I think this is one of the first upgraded suits you can get. Don't know if there'll be a mini for it though, because suits are cards. Intruders. For a long time, humanity thought it was alone in space. As you run through the half-lit corridors with the shepherd, stalked by some unknown alien eldritch thing, you wish that was the case. Oh, how you wish it. Cool. Yeah, that sculpt looks fantastic. Love all the mushrooms. The little red eyes, unnecessary, but it's a fun touch. Intruders is the catch-all name of alien monsters, creatures and humanoids that infest the shepherd's hall. I'm kind of curious about the use of intruders and also a name like the shepherd. I kind of feel like it's just a nod to other well-regarded sci-fi things, obviously like Mass Effect and Nemesis, the game. Some spread like disease, while others like vermin. Some like the taste of human meats. To others, you are merely an ant in the way of their march. There will be no negotiations. You will survive or you will die in one of the many horrific ways, or worse yet, become something else. Weapons and gear. Weapons and gear you'll find aboard the Shepherd are as varied as the things that prowl its corridors, from earthborn weapons of the NASF and UCMC. I think UCMC is like the United something military is my guess. To experimental laser, plasma, and electromagnetic guns, truly alien arms. In some cases, they were arms before. Okay, so over 300 weapons in the base game alone, which is what that add-on has too. So the ship. Pretty awesome artwork, that's for sure. Is a long-lost technological marvel of old Earth, returned to you transformed. Twisted, its darkened corridors haunted by alien beings thirsty for your blood. Its spacious holds and claustrophobic science labs, hiding forbidden secrets of the Outer Dark, but also of your dear homeworld. Cool. Rules, so you can download the rulebook, that's good. Reviews and previews, fun stuff. So lots of good things here. And then we got the videos. TTS mod download and link, that's cool. So design philosophy and their story. Marston looking good in that suit, good stuff. The team, which has grown a whole bunch over the years, which is very cool. Ooh, shipping estimates based on current rates. Single wave, you get all your items in a single package in the second half of 2026. Cool. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up slipping to 2027. Like many creators, there's a tendency to have a few things. One, obviously, delays happen. They're just a part of any creative endeavor, especially when it's so vast. Global things are a player too, and then also to a degree, I wouldn't say anything as bad as like stretch goal scope creep. Just more so they take their time to make sure that they're designing exactly what they want, and any delays that I've experienced with them have been well received and are for the better of the game itself. Okay, so USA, most states, not too bad. Canada, oh, Canada's actually pretty good too. Usually Canadian shipping's pretty expensive. Oh, Poland shipping would be lovely though. Oh, that's also for one way. You got the core game and NASF reinforcements at the end of 2025. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being a little bit longer. And hey, split wave shipping is actually pretty good too. Cool. Well, at a glance, I think I'm going to get the base game with the miniatures just with that price. And I'm probably going to pick through some of the expansions and see which ones appeal most to me, and I might add those in the pledge manager. For someone just getting into this game, it's the holiday season, or just stumbling upon this, Into the Unknown makes massive games, and I would just get the base one. Miniatures, if you want the aesthetic. The visuals of the standees don't look amazing, but I'm sure they'll look fantastic by the end result. And getting hundreds of hours of gameplay for like $100 after taxes USD is a really good deal. So that's where I'm at. I'm tempted to explore what the all-in would look like with standees, but I'm a sucker for minis, so we'll see. That's quick thoughts. Quick thoughts at the end of what looks to be quite a long video here. But thanks for tuning in. Definitely be active. Ask any questions in the comments about the game, Into the Unknown, and what their games are like, and I'm happy to answer as best as I can here too. But happy gaming, ta-ta for now, and we'll see you next time. Bye!